Alright y'all, this is probably going to be a relatively short video, but something I wanted to touch on. As you know, we just had the gas shortage not too long ago. I heard something the other day about the problems with the pipeline again, possibly another hack or some kind of internal problems or something, so there may be another gas shortage and yada yada yada. But anyway, with the first one, with the way it was handled, was very poorly, in my opinion. I hadn't done a lot of research on it and everything like that, but I heard people saying that the ones that hacked it got paid like $5 million ransom. So that's a terrible mistake, in my opinion. I think that the pipeline hack was a trial run and the beginning of more things to come. So if they could hack something that would do that much damage in that short amount of time, and the way people lost their minds and then ended up giving them like, $5 million ransom or whatever it is, how is that going to stop them from doing it again? It's not. It's not going to stop copycats either. Maybe this group doesn't do it again, but the next group will, because they said, hey, they got away with it. Essentially, nobody found out who they were. They got paid the money. I heard it was through crypto, so it's not traceable. And there you go. They're going to do it again. Maybe a copycat will do it again. But I'm really looking for them to attack the grid, the power grid. As we all know, the U.S. has a very weak power grid. It's very old and it's not up to date structurally, and the security and things like that. I mean, out here we'll lose power sometimes for a week at a time due to a thunderstorm, and of course ice storms and things like that. So I'm looking for them to attack the power grid, not really in the form of an EMP, just a cyber attack and things like that. Maybe try to get some more ransom, but I don't think the ransom was the main point of doing it, just kind of a cover-up. I think the main point of doing it was just to cripple the United States, to cause that shortage and for things not to flow as they should, and to kind of gauge the average citizen's response to it and our leaders' response to it. So you can bet somebody somewhere was sitting back taking notes on what happened and making plans to do more. I don't know who these people were or where they were from or anything like that. I'm not, throwing shade at any group of people, but these were terrorists, and they come in all flavors. And terrorists don't stop. That's why they're terrorists, to do terror. So something else is coming. I believe it's going to be an attack on the power grid, because that would just hurt the United States so much more than the gas shortage did, because the way people lost their minds with that, they're really going to lose it when there's no power. When you can't go to the store and buy more food, everything's out of power and shut down and spoiled and thrown away. When you don't have lights in your house, when you turn on the water spigot and nothing comes out. The average person probably doesn't have 3 days worth of food and water in their house. And I don't have the statistics to back that up, just my opinions. A lot of people don't have one day's worth of food and water in their house. They stop at the store every day on the way home from work and get what they're going to cook for supper. I don't know why people do that, but people do. They always look for the store to be there because it always has been. But one day, it may not. I don't know whether it'll be in my lifetime or not, but I certainly expect it. That's why I'm doing all that I'm doing. So, my advice to you is to be on the lookout for those things. Some of the things that consist of is making sure you have food and water stored up, and not to count on going to the store for a while. I would say probably 4 to 6 weeks would be a pretty good guess of how long, if we were not hit with an EMP, if we were just hit with a cyber attack on the grid, or maybe they, I don't know, blow up a power station or something. I would say that would probably affect us about 4 to 6 weeks. Just my opinions. So I would count on not going to the store in that amount of time. Of course, as a prepper, you can never have too much food or water. You could have 10 years stored up. That's even better. But I would say do your best to have a month or more. At least 2 weeks bare minimum. But I would say I would err on 4 to 6 weeks myself. So have the things you need to go that amount of time. Like I said, food and water, your sanitary things. I would recommend a generator and the fuel to run it if you get a gas generator or diesel or whatever, propane, stuff like that. Of course, you could get solar. I don't know a lot about them, but you could do that. But I recommend having a generator, because if we're not hit by an EMP, if it's just a normal power outage, then you will be able to have something running. And a lot of times I'm talking to and giving advice about rural or maybe suburban type situations. I'm not the person to ask or give advice on heavily urban topics, because I don't live there. I ain't never lived there, and I have zero plans of living there. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you like, that's, that's your thing, good for you. But you should be trying to be as prepared as possible in that environment for those situations. I can't imagine living in a heavily populated city where everything is concrete and sidewalks, and living in a 5-story apartment building. Can't wrap my head around that. That seems a lot like prison to somebody like me. But do what you need to do. In that situation, as far as power, a generator is not going to be a good option for you. Possibly a solar generator. Again, I don't know how they work or how much noise they make and things like that. Something small you can do is solar panels. Maybe in an apartment setting, you can put a couple solar panels out on the balcony, or hang them up in your window or something like that, and be able to have a small battery or something to store some energy, and be able to charge cell phones, maybe run a fan or something like that. Again, that's not my area of expertise, but those are some things you're going to want to do. You're going to want security. Like I said, as crazy as people got over a little gas shortage, if you have, a real outage, like I said, stores are not open, there's no power, what's in the stores have spoiled and thrown out, what's in your house is spoiled and thrown out because most people only have things in, refrigerators and freezers and stuff like that. Not really any storable goods. So, when people get hungry and their kids get hungry, they're going to get desperate. And like I said, it's up to your use your own discretion. I don't advocate violence or anything like that, but you're going to need to protect yourself and your family with the boomsticks, the freedom seeds, the things like that. Hopefully you already have them. None of us have the amount that we truly want, but I would say bare minimum, if you had one boomstick and 100 rounds of ammo for it, it's probably going to get you through whatever situation you're going to face. If you have more adult members in the household, I would like for you to have one boomstick for each one. But that's probably going to get you through, because depending on what you're preparing for, this is what I'm telling you here for this situation. It's going to be home defense. It's going to be your apartment defense, things like that. Somebody breaking through the front door. This is not the roving, not, Civil War and all this type of stuff. A lot of people like to prepare for that, to have, a bunch of boomsticks, 10,000 rounds, plate carriers and everything like that, which I'm not against that. If you've got that already or you got the money to do it, go for it, because you just never know. But the most realistic scenario in my mind is going to be, 2 to 5 people breaking in your house, trying to get what you got in a desperate situation. Most criminals are cowards. You shoot one, the rest run. But that's not always the case. Again, there's no truly 100% answer. So this is just some advice I'm giving you. And if you're a seasoned prepper, you're probably already good for everything. But maybe if you're a new prepper, maybe this will help you. And maybe it'll kind of give you an idea of some things you can get that doesn't seem so overwhelming. Starting off with a couple of weeks of food and, one boomstick versus an arsenal. But the thing about a gunfight is bullets go both ways. So I don't really see myself or anybody else lasting long enough to go through 2 or 3 guns and 5,000 rounds of ammo. I'm probably going to be done caught a bullet long before then that's non-recoverable. But like I said, I recommend all that. I recommend first aid stuff, trauma kit. I recommend at least one tourniquet and a set of chest seals, because you just never know what's going to happen. Tourniquets are fairly cheap. They're a little expensive, but you can get a cat tourniquet for about $30. I forgot what chest seals are. You can get gauze for wound packing, things like that. But right now, I'm going to say the primary concerns for what I think is coming is going to be an attack on the grid. So you're going to need to be able to stay home, bunker in for a while. You're going to need your food, your water, and your security. Possibly medical, but I would get the food and water and security first. And of course your personal hygiene stuff, toilet paper, whatever you usually use on a week-to-week basis. Try to have enough for 4 to 6 weeks, in my opinion. All right, so that's about all I got for this one. Stay prayed up, prepped up, and strapped up. See you.